Greetings from YouTubeville. Once again, it's Danny Savage, Draft Guru. Today, we're going to be throwing out five tight ends to watch for the fall of 2024. Like I said, this is no way of ranking people. Just going to be throwing out five tight ends to look out for. As a whole, I think 2025 draft is going to be a little bit deeper at tight end than this past April's class because after Bowers, Theo Johnson, which I had like really ranked high, and then Kid Sanders from Texas, it really dropped off after that. So as of right now, in my opinion, there's really no clear cut number one. Even though there is a lot of people are saying the one kid is a clear cut number one, but I'll get to him and I'm going to explain the reasons why I think he's going to have a dip in his stats this year. So we're only going to throw out five now and we'll double back at a certain period of time and throw out another five. First kid I'm going to throw out. No one's even talking about this kid. No one's even talking about this kid. No one even has this kid in their top 10. Nobody. His name is Tyler Warren from Penn State. 6'6", 260. Had 7 touchdowns last year. And the reason I'm so high on him this year is, number one, I'm not a big fan of Penn State's quarterback, Drew Aller. He doesn't have, I don't like his deep ball at all. Could he have gotten better from last year until now? Yes. But also Penn State's number one wide receiver, Keandre Lambert-Smith, left. But you'll see him, he transferred to Auburn, but you'll see him on my top 10 wide receiver list. So Penn State, as of right now, they got a sick, crazy running game, which I gave you 2 of their running backs already. But they do not have a clear-cut number one wide receiver at this point. Plus, Aller's deep ball is his weakness. So we all know, I ain't going to say he's a rookie quarterback or like he doesn't have a lot of experience, but we all know, especially when you don't have deep threats. Listen, in general, a good tight end is a quarterback's best friend. And this kid has the size, has the production, and I think you're going to see an increase in his production just because unless Penn State can develop a clear deep threat. And as of now, they do not have one. Could they still get someone in the portal? Could someone show up? Yeah, it's possible. But as of right now, this kid, he's their number one wide receiver threat right now. So I think you're going to see a lot. He's going to see a lot more action, a lot more catches, a lot more looks, definitely inside the 20-yard line. Because we all know Penn State likes to pound the ball, and then look to pass short because they don't have any deep threats. This is another kid now I'm going to give you that everyone's hyping up as their tight end number one. And I'm not saying he's a bad tight end at all. His name is Colston Loveland from Michigan. 6'5", 240. He had 7 touchdowns last year. He's a good tight end. But this is where the problem arises. He's the only returning starter on Michigan's offense. They lost 10 starters on offense. So he's the only one coming back. So you would think he's going to see a lot of targets. And in a normal world, he should. He should be receiving double targets. But as of right now, Michigan has a very big run first, pass second quarterback. So that's why I'm thinking he might see a dip in his numbers. But most likely because of his tape last year and his ceiling, this kid might be the first tight end drafted. It can go both ways. We could see him higher, get a lot more higher looks because Michigan lost everybody, or we could see his touches go down just because Michigan in a whole is going to be a run first offense and their quarterback is going to be run first. So he's also a good guy for props on Saturdays for touchdowns. There's another kid, Gavin Bartholomew out of Pitt, 6'5", 250. He jumped out off the screen on me last year. Like I said, this is no way ranking. This is just me throwing out a watch list. In my opinion, I watched him just level people in the running game. So as of right now, I consider him a run blocker more than a pass catcher. He does have soft hands. He can catch the ball, but he's been used as more of like a bulldozer in the run game. So if you're looking for one of those guys, he's one of those guys that you can go out and get, and he could be a day 3 guy. Like I said, we're just having fun. It's June. This is no way we're ranking people. We're just throwing out names to watch, you know? Another kid people are blowing up a lot, but they're blowing him up a lot on his ceiling, not so much on his production so far in college. And his name is Mitchell Evans out of Notre Dame. Crazy size, 6'5", 260. But last year he didn't have crazy production. But then again, the quarterback Hartman or whatever, Sam Hartman, I think his name was, he was basically just like a walking turnover, the kid. And Penn State ran the ball a lot last year. But they're blowing a lot of places, a lot of people are blowing this kid up. So he's a ceiling projection. He has the size, he has the athletic ability. It's just, and I know Notre Dame this year does have a better quarterback than they did have last year. So he's a kid that could surprise, and he could be the second or third tight end drafted. Like I said, this is no way rankings where we're just having fun. The last kid is Luke Lachey out of Iowa, and we all know Iowa has been putting out good tight ends lately, aka Sam Laporta. This kid has crazy size, 6'6", 225. He was on his way to having a great 2023 season, but he had a leg injury and was out for the year. Another thing, too, you got to watch about Iowa tight ends, their numbers might not jump off the screen because they play in such a conservative offense. Iowa's ball is they look to run the ball, and they haven't had like the top defense in the Big Ten like for the last 5 years for no reason. So they want to run the ball and play defense. So if he stays healthy this year, he's a name to watch out for. Also, even if his numbers are a little low, you got to take into consideration that he was in a very conservative offense. And I said that also about Brevin Spann-Ford. If he was, don't get me wrong, he's a run blocker first, but he has crazy soft hands out of Minnesota. he just wasn't used. Minnesota is just a very, I don't know, some teams are just very super conservative. They have super conservative coaches and they look to just play defense. But when you run up against the Ohio States, the Michigans, and the Penn States, and other, Power Five big time schools, if you do make it to a ball game, that's not going to fly. You're not going to be able to win every single game by only scoring 14 points, 10 points. There's been plenty of games where Iowa last year where the over under was like 28 points. It was crazy. That's how good of their defense they are. That's why when I go back, you're going to see an Iowa defensive tackle on my watch list. You're going to see an Iowa linebacker on my watch list. So today was part one watch list of tight ends. Tomorrow, what are we going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow is going to be safety. Tomorrow we're going to do is going to be part one safety. Then we're going to do corners. Then we're going to do wide receivers. Then we're going to flip back around and go to D-tackle, defensive end, linebackers, or tackle, offensive tackle, guard, center. Every position, I'm going to throw out another 5 each for each position. So, like I said, we're just having fun. Names to watch. This ain't going to be no clickbait channel. Just because all these services say, "Oh, this guy's number one, that guy's number one." No, you're not going to hear me say that. You're going to hear me say who I think is number one. You're going to hear me say who I've watched for the last couple of years. You're going to see who I've seen caught my eye. If you want to have clickbait and just get stupid rankings, go watch PFF. Their rankings are horrible. So if you want to do that, do that. But their rankings are gross in college and their rankings are gross in the NFL. But this is the channel for that. I'm just going to give you the real deal on who I like, and by July 1st, we'll be at 120 players. We'll be at by July 1st. When you're rocking with the GWO, it's for life. Hope you enjoy the stream. Like and subscribe. Thank you.